Good morning and welcome to the Luxury Travel University. I am Angela Hughes, Luxury Travel Entrepreneur. I am here today with Joel Staley, our master communicator. I'm so glad that he's joined me again. We're bringing him back to the show. And today we're talking about all things presentations. Joel, do you want to just introduce yourself? I know you've been on the show and we all loved when we got together in October with you, but today's going to even be better.
Well, I hope so. And I'm happy to introduce myself. So I'm a communications professional. I've been working in communications and public relations for more than 25 years. I've worked for large global agencies like Edelman, Burson Conan Wolf, Hill and Knowlton, and others. But I've also worked in-house as a PR director for Disney Parks and Resorts. And then I was a senior vice president for brand and external communications for Seacoast Bank, which is a regional bank here in Florida. So throughout that, one of the things that I have done is, and something that I really enjoy, is helping other people, training them, teaching them on how to be better communicators. And I train spokespersons on how to be better interviewees when it comes to the media. Tough media interviews can be really intimidating. So I teach them how to do that and do it well. But I also teach executives and others how to do better presentations, whether that's a keynote address at a trade conference or just a one-on-one presentation with a critical prospect. Being a good communicator in those instances can make or break you. So I love sharing what I know about that.
What are some of the things that you're seeing across the board now that we've gone to this new format of like live presentations? We're kind of on the spot. Not all of us went to media school. Not all of us were journalists. Some of us just popped up in our computer like myself and started doing my own talk show. I'm not Oprah. What do you think the common mistakes are across the board when we just go with live presentations? Let's start there for a minute.
Sure, for sure. So one thing I would say is it's never a mistake to try. I love that people are getting out there. I love that, you know what? I'm going to buy a camera. I'm going to get a microphone. I'm going to start doing this. I applaud them. And I, even if you don't know what you're doing, get out there, experiment. You can learn. And so tips for those types of folks would be one, take a look at yourself on camera. All of the, whether it's Zoom or Microsoft Teams or the various programs that allow you to do this, take a look at yourself on camera. Look at the background in your office. What does it look like? Look at the lighting in the room. Are there shadows on your face? Maybe invest in some lighting to make you look a little bit better. Be aware that television compresses you. It turns you from a 3D individual into a 2D individual. And so some of the depth perception is lost, and there's things that you need to do with regards to your appearance that can help mitigate that. So these are all some basic tips. And as we get into my presentation today, towards the end, we're going to spend a good bit of time going over very specific tactics that you can use to improve video conference calls, to improve your effectiveness in any sort of video presentation. So
I love that so much because obviously you've all been invited into my family room. This is literally my family room right here. And I just want to mention today, I have no voice. Everybody, this is because I choked on a chip in Mexico this weekend, the point right here in your throat. And I was coughing so hard, I thought I was going to have the Heimlich. And now I'm losing my voice. So this is perfect to talk about how your voice matters. Are any tips on your voice? Obviously today I don't have a voice because I'm choking on chips in Mexico, but I'm back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tips for your voice. Well, I mean, your voice is your instrument, and it's most important. Not the only way. Nonverbal today too, but your voice is dynamic. You can alter.
Oh, we're a little sluggish with his internet today.
Am I back on? Did it?
Yeah, we're kind of a little bit in and out. Let's go to your presentation real quick. I know that we've done a lot, and I'm so excited to see what you're sharing with us. So Luxury Travel University people, Joel is training us on all things communication today, how to present better. And so this goes for anybody who's, got a business out there. You don't need to be selling travel. This really applies clear across the board for like so many people. So talk to us on this. And he just keeps
Slides.
bringing
And
up.
what we're going to go over today is we've already done the introductions and overview. So here are the keys to preparing for any important communication situation, any important presentation. You've got to prepare. You've got to take a look at your message structure and see what's most effective. The power of simplicity. Sometimes we just get full of ourselves and things get so complex and so, um, you know, all over the place. We've got to keep it simple. Openings are really important. That sets the stage for what comes next and the tone of your presentation. Closings are incredibly important because it can remind people of those main points that you want them to take away. And then as we deliver, we have a fabulous toolkit that allows us to communicate, and we need to learn how to use that toolkit. Every tool in that toolkit, whether it's your voice, nonverbals, your appearance, hand gestures, everything. So we'll learn about those. And then finally, at the end, we're going to go over the specifics of video call presentations. We're doing so many of those today with our quarantined environment. I want to help people. I want to give them some good guidance how to do those better and more effectively. And then we'll wrap up with some questions and answers. So hopefully there'll be plenty of questions and we have a good chat on all things regarding the presentation then.
Okay, let's go for it. Let's see what you've got.
So the first thing that I want to go over is communications is really about your reputation. It's really that important. Look at this quote from Warren Buffett: "Lose money for my firm and I will be understanding." That seems incredible to me. Here's a guy, and I just saw him on the morning talk shows yesterday. He's in the news for yet, making another bazillion dollars. Nobody's built more wealth from nothing than this guy. So he understands the value of a dollar. And when he says, if you lose money, I'll be understanding, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
But look what he says next: lose one shred of reputation and I will be ruthless. Why would he say that? Well, I'll tell you, because he knows that if you have a rough quarter, you can always make the money back the next quarter. If you make a mistake, you can correct it and still continue to earn money. But if you damage your, it won't matter how good the deal is. It won't matter how deep the discount. They won't trust you because of your damaged reputation, and you won't be.
Oh, Joel.
So I love Warren Buffett's quote there. So
Yeah, we keep losing Joel. He's breaking up with us here.
oh, sorry.
Mm.
Am I back?
You're back. You're back.
Okay, sorry about that. So one of the keys to doing well in any presentation, and you to prepare well have to know your story. And on the slide, I've got images of 3 incredible storytellers. And as we go from the holding the book in front of her, Harry Potter, J. Rowling. In the upper right-hand corner, there's Walt Disney himself pointing to Orlando, Florida, where I'm at today and where Angela's at today, and telling all of his television viewers about the great things that were to come at Walt Disney World Resort. And then in the lower right-hand corner, Samuel Clemens or Mark Twain. Again, these are incredible storytellers, and what they know is that we need to know our story, and it can't be 19 or 70,000 different things. It's got to be 3 or 4 things that we repeat again and again. That's how you people.
So he's breaking up on us a little bit, but he's saying we've got to have 3 or 4 things right there that we're telling our story about, that you're going to tell over and over and over.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's those 3 or 4 main takeaways, and you need to be critically aware of what those are and work those into your story in a way that allows people to remember them. So know your story, your 4 key headlines or key messages. The next thing you need to look at in terms of your preparation is know your audience. Now we've got 2 images. The left, maybe a new punk show at an underground concert location or venue. So these 2 audiences care about very different things and have very different interests. And if you aren't keenly aware of that when you present to an audience, you're going to be in trouble. You need to make sure that you know the demographics, the values, the associations, and the cultural influences of your audience. And if that's just a single person, know their name, know where they went to school, Know more about all those things. Help you make your communication and personalized to them. Part of preparation is to know your purpose. So many times I see an email written or in a business, and it seems meaningless. It just seems like a data dump, like they're regurgitating information all over us. It's not effective. You need to ask yourself, what do I want people to think, feel, and do as a result of what I'm communicating right now? You want to influence behavior. That's the reason for communicating. And you need to be keenly aware of what behavior it is that you're trying to influence.
Yeah. Do people make mistakes on that when they're selling? I feel like we do make mistakes on that when we're selling to people. We're just trying to sell a product and we're not necessarily getting out there and really trying to look at that one buyer, segment it right towards the ideal client avatar. Do you see that often because we're too anxious to buy?
I think that's true. I think that's true. And I think that we need to be more transparent and more upfront about what our purpose is when we communicate. That should be the first thing. That's our headline. We tell them, hey, we're here today to do X. And that grabs people's attention. And then you can support X with all the reasons and rationale. But the first thing you need to tell them is, what is the purpose for you communicating to them?
Okay. Moving on.
Preparation. I want to offer a little bit in terms of phasing, because so often people come to me and they're like, well, I've got this big trade conference presentation and I don't know, when should I start getting ready for it? How long does it really take? How much time should I invest in this? I would say look at it in terms of phases. So I've got 5 phases here that I use when I prepare for a presentation. And the first one is I research the audience and the opportunity. Who am I talking to and what's the setting?
Okay.
The second phase is I confirm the key messages and the desired behavior that I want to influence. So what's my story and what do I want the audience to do as a result of hearing my story? I get that defined in phase 2. In phase 3, now that I know what my story is, now that I know what the outcome ought to be, I'm going to go and gather supporting materials and data that will help act as proof points and help me tell my story. Okay. I want convincing and compelling data. I want analogies. I want color. I want everything that's going to help people remember my story. And that's what I do in phase 3 is I gather that material. In phase 4, that's when I start drafting. And you can never just write it perfectly the first time. Be prepared and build this into your timeline to do 3, 4, maybe half a dozen drafts until you get it just right. It takes that kind of work to deliver a great presentation.
Okay.
And then phase 5, rehearse. You can't just write it, even if it's perfect on paper, and expect that it's going to be perfect in the delivery. You need to rehearse. You need to rehearse in an environment that simulates what you're going to be in when you actually deliver the real presentation. You need to have trusted friends and advisors listen in on your rehearsals and give you good feedback and tips about how you can improve. And don't just rehearse.
I feel like I'm so bad on the preparation because I usually wing so many things. I wing these lives. I wing when I crowd, and that can come back to haunt me. I'm looking at all these places where I could really improve.
Well, rehearsal. Okay, let me offer an example. When you go to one of the things that people say to me is they're like, Joel, I don't want to sound scripted. I don't want to sound like it's like a robot, just delivering lines. And I promise you, you won't. And let me tell you why. Have you ever gone to a theater production? Maybe on Broadway, if you've been lucky enough to travel to New York, maybe at a local university. And you watch these shows, they can be impactful. They can reach you on an emotional level, and they can influence the way you look at the world. Yet, they're all scripted, every last one of them. Why is it so effective? Why is it so impactful? Because they rehearsed it to death. They learned it. It ceased to become a line, a script, and it started becoming part of them, and they internalized it. And that's why they're able to still move us emotionally, even though they're delivering a script.
And I've been on with so many salespeople, business development managers. I've been on key webinars where the person is literally reading it, and I just want to be like, oh my gosh, you're not engaging me whatsoever. That is driving me crazy. And I just want to tune out, because then I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't feel a conviction from that person whatsoever.
That's right. Well, what happens is the more that you know what the presentation that you're delivering, the more intimate you are with every detail of it, the better you can do in the moment of concentrating on your audience and reading them and delivering it in a way that resonates and is impactful, instead of worrying about next in my presentation.
Okay.
So rehearsal can give you that feeling.
Okay.
This great little quote here from President Woodrow Wilson. He says, if I'm to speak for 10 minutes, I need a week for preparation. If an hour, I can do that right now. And so,
Oh, geez, our internet's cutting out here with Joel. We can't seem to keep him live here for a minute. Joel, are you still with us? We're talking presentation and we can't keep our presenter here. Okay, we may have lost Joel. While we're waiting, tell me in the comments what some of your biggest struggles are, and hopefully we can get Joel back on the line here. Yeah, you're back. I'm glad you're back.
oh gosh, I was worried it was really going to get severed. Okay. So anyway, the point is 10 minutes is a very short time. If you're going to be impactful, you got to get your stuff together and really hit the highlights in that 10 minutes. If you got an hour, you can afford to ramble a little bit. So
yeah,
that's the counterintuitive quote there. I want to talk a little bit about message structure.
Okay, Joel, we have a lot of sound coming in now. I don't know what's going on today because we've done this live before, but we've got a lot of background noise coming in now since you jumped back on.
Oh man, what is it still coming through? Still hear the background noise?
Let's do this, you guys. I think we are going to try again. Should we try again on Thursday, Joel? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. What time on Thursday do you think would be good?
Should we try 11 o'clock, you guys in the audience again, 11 o'clock Thursday morning, and see if we can get, because I want to go through this whole presentation. We're talking presentation and we're having a hard time just staying connected with you.
I know, it's awful. I do apologize for that.
And I want everybody to feel the value of this message, because it's so important, because so many of you are presenting. So I'm going to see if we can try one more time with Joel and see if we can get some better connection for him on Thursday.
Yeah.
Or we can even do tomorrow. Ask some questions, you guys. Well,
I could do tomorrow at 11. That I could do.
Try this again tomorrow at 11, you guys. So tune in tomorrow. Let's try one more time with Joel and see if we can get better audio, better sound from him, because we'll try again, because I want you all to feel the power of this presentation and this message. So catch me tomorrow. Okay, thanks.
Thanks.